Here is why I think that Madeleine McCann is still alive, and this is coming from a person who thought that she was long gone. For those who don't know Madeleine, this is Maddie. She is a British girl who went missing during her family vacation in Portugal in 2007. It's been 16 years and the case is still open to this day. So what is so special about Madeleine? She is an ordinary British child that came from an ordinary British family. Why is this case still happening? So this case has received more funds than any other child missing case in the world, from the government and from the public. You're telling me that the UK government, that is financially struggling, is willing to now invest hundreds and thousands of pounds into an investigation 16 years later in hopes of finding something? Why? Because they know something that we don't. Don't you find it strange how this case has received so much more media coverage than any other case and has its own Netflix documentary? People watch this for entertainment. Have you also noticed how we've been kept in a constant loop of what's happening? Have you noticed how we literally get fed breadcrumbs about this case annually, and we hear of Madeleine McCann every couple of years in the headlines, just briefly enough to remember who she is? So why is this case still being investigated and prioritized above anything else? Because they know that she will be found, and here's why. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, okay, so what is this, a setup? Where are you going with this video? What if, and this is a personal theory, what if Madeleine McCann was bought for scientific research? Maddie's parents were investigated and accused of possibly being involved in the case. However, that has been disproven. But is that really the truth? Isn't it strange how they still have hope that their little girl is going to come back after 16 years? And sure, parents having hope can be a delusional thing because they love their child. But is the government going to be delusional? Is the government going to delusionally invest so much money into something that statistically shouldn't even be solved? Statistically, this case has a very little chance of ever being solved. What if Madeleine McCann comes back to society as a clone? We've heard about cloning for a while, but there has been no evidence of a human ever being cloned. Okay, little disclaimer, I am not a scientist and I don't know much about cloning, but realistically speaking, cloning is a process that would take years. It would take a lot of trial and error, it would require conditioning, and absolutely no interference of this individual with the outside world. A famous disappearance such as Madeleine McCann's is a perfect opportunity to create a clone, pop it back into society without anyone suspecting a thing. If Madeleine McCann was to ever return, she surely wouldn't exhibit normal people behavior. If she was isolated from society for this long, it would be completely acceptable for her to not behave in traditional ways, same way that a clone wouldn't behave in traditional human ways. So mark my words, there is a reason why this case is getting this many funds and this much attention like no other. Because she's coming back. And looking at it from a researcher's point of view, in order for a social experiment to be authentic, deception has to be used, whether it's ethical or not. There is no other way to study society in its true form without deception. And this is why I believe that she will come back one day.